everyone, Platz here, and welcome to part 1 of our BMW M6 GT3 from Platz / Nunu. So, this is a kit I wanted to build for a while, and I'm going to mention this again in a minute. A lot of people have said there's issues with this kit, and it's always put me off building it. And I thought, you know what, let's just jump in, let's just have a go building it and see how it goes. I've got 3 boxes into this. I've got the Macau GP, I've got the Falcon Zurich one, and this box, and it was a bit of a kind of a decision what to make, because I've also got aftermarket schemes for it too, so it was like, which one should I do? And I thought, right, let's do this. I like this scheme. It's a white body car, which we've not done for ages. I've not done a white car in, it's over a year. The last one I did was a commission build, so it wasn't even for me. Because when I first started building cars, 90% of the cars I built were motorsport, because I was buddy building with Sam back then. And they were all white, and I just got bored of doing white cars. So I kind of moved away, but I thought, you know what would be nice to do, because it's a different spraying technique. It's a different look. And we're going to do something else different today as well. We're not going to 2K it. We're going to semi-gloss the car as well. I know, I can hear you. Really? Yep. That's what we're going to do. So a little bit of a difference there. So we've got the kit, we've got the detail upset, we've got a mask set for it. If you want to go look at a review, I'll put it in the description down below. I've reviewed the original box of this, which I no longer have, sadly. I sold it on, shouldn't have. And then I think I did another review later on where I compared what came with the detail upset, I think, and the newer boxings as well. So I'll put those in the description. I'll have a proper look through the box, go look at those. But we're going to go through the box quickly, the content and the aftermarket set, before we get going with the build. Hey everyone, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, get notified of our latest videos, give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and leave a comment. I do read and appreciate every comment you guys and girls leave behind. I may not reply to them all, but they are all appreciated. And there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to a big long list of all handy videos and a lot of the products I use in my videos. Right then, so a brand new kit. A kit I've wanted to build for quite some time. BMW M6 GT3 from Platz or Nunu. I've wanted to build one of these for a while now. I've got a few of these in the stash, a few different schemes. But I've been put off by a lot of people saying that there's problems with the kit. But having a chat to my buddy Simon, who's built one of these, the main issues are in those vents on the side, mainly the back ones. And once they're glued in place, apparently, it's pretty straight sailing. So we're going to go a little different way than the instructions. Sam's told me to glue them in place rather than letting them float around in the kit like the instructions call out. So we'll see how we get on. So out of the box, nice clean body. The Nunu body's moulded in a strange plastic. It's textured, but it does look good. Minimal seam wear because we've got front and rear bumpers to attach. That means the body is probably slide moulded. Clear parts look good, wheels look good. I have a full review of this kit and a look at the other kits further back in the channel. I'll try and link them in the description down below. Parts look good, well moulded, typical Nunu kit. If you build B-Max kits, you kind of know what to expect. So, good selection of parts, not too much to build. It's obviously a curbside kit, so there's no engine in there. I don't really foresee any issues with the build. With quality-wise, I've built loads of Nunu kits and B-Max kits in the past. So hopefully this one will be decent. So, instructions, nice, clear and concise. Just what we'd expect. Everything's labelled well. Colour call-outs are there. Obviously, we've got a detail upset here as well, so we need to cross-reference all that as well. The only thing I don't like about these kits is they give you decals for the window black work. We've got a window mask, so we'll use that. That is the scheme we're going to do. There's 2 in the kit. There's all our parts layout as well. And of course, there's our other scheme too. So that is a beautiful scheme. I am a sucker for the M logo, but I think we're going to stick with the original scheme. So this is the scheme we're going to do. There's beautiful M stripes. Very nice decals. Now, if you don't buy this kit with the detail upset, the bonnet vent decals on the top left, 6 of them, they're just black. Whereas in the aftermarket set, it's carbon. So bear that in mind if you don't have the detail upset from Nunu. You might want to make your own carbon fibre, but beautiful decals. And from past experience, they shouldn't really be a problem going down. Now, a few of these cross over, so you have to be aware of what's what. Like I say, you get the carbon for the roof and the carbon for the front headlight covers, well, spotlight covers. We got our side lower skirt decals and the window surrounds. If you want to use these, by all means do, but I think I'd rather mask and paint like normal. And of course, some iconic M logos for the other scheme that's in the box. So we've also got a Decal cast window frame mask, as you can see there. So we'll use that instead of using the decals. And we've got the aftermarket set from Nunu themselves. So nice selection of Photo-Etched on this fret. Beautifully done. Absolutely stunning PE. And this will add a lot of detail. Now we're not going to use every single bit, mainly because we don't need to, we don't want to. Or if I'm honest, we might forget. At some point we've got an antenna in there and the air valve connector for the air jack as well. And of course got some red ribbon at the back for the belts. A whole load of carbon fibre decal. Most of this goes on the underside of the chassis, where sadly it won't be seen, but we will pop it on. And then there's an occasional bit for the bonnet inserts, the light covers, and so on and so forth. Just it's 10 past 11. And yeah, so there we go. Nice detail upset there. And the instructions are here as well. As you can see, step 1 is all that carbon on the chassis. There's a lot of it. And like I say, we're going to have to cross-reference this against the kit instructions as we go along the way. But pretty straightforward. So, as usual, we'll start with our bodywork. We've got a 400 grit Ultimate Modern Products thinny stick here. And we're going to remove all the sprue points. So they've been cut off the sprues with our Tamiya side cutters. We're just going to clean up all those sprue points and then off them up to the body. So these need careful gluing. So A, you don't ruin the panel line. And B, make sure everything is lined up. So offer it up. Hold it strategically in one place. Make sure it's all lined up. Don't apply a huge amount of pressure. And just let the Tamiya extra thin, this is the green one, just capillary flow through the panel line and just hold it. Don't push, because what you'll get is molten plastic coming through the panel line and ruin that panel line. It is a panel line on the car. So we want to be able to put a wash in this later. So just put a adequate amount of glue on there to let it flow. Then we can just hold that for 15-20 seconds and let that do its work. And then we'll move on to the side parts. And again, we'll just hold them, glue them, hold them, glue them. Easiest way to do it. Once we're done, we can run a bead of glue on the inside. Just hold it. Don't press. Just hold it in place. Same on the inside. Once you've got the outer glued on, same method. We can come inside, add a little bit of glue, and make sure that's all secure. Don't need a mass of glue at all. Make sure you wipe off a lot of the excess glue and just let the capillary action carry it all the way through, like so. Like I say, we're not going to be putting up every single product detail anymore, but I will put up some of the more important ones, and if not, I'll call out what they actually are. Just checking that that's glued in place properly, and I'm happy with it. And if not, we can just give it a little bit of a push down and a re-glue. Of course, if you do get the molten plastic, you can just rescribe it later on, but obviously the less work you do now, the better. Same on the back, quick test fit. Shows it fits fine. I put a little bit of Tamiya white top glue in the locator points at the back, and we'll just hold that for a minute. And then exactly as front, we'll just let the capillary action go through the joins and glue it all in place like so. So all the products I show in these videos, if you click on the description down below, there's a link at the top. You click on that and there's a huge list of videos and near enough every single product I use in my videos and where you can get them from. So if you see a glue, a sander, a pencil, whatever you see, you will find it in that list. And like I say, I'll still try and put up the most prominent details and definitely all Ultimate products because, well, it's in my benefit to do that. And again, just some careful gluing. Just take your time here. The more careful you are here and the cleaner you are, the less cleanup you've got later on. So we just want to glue it in place. Hold it. Don't squeeze. Just hold it. until you're happy it's all nicely set. It'll take a few hours to fully dry, so just be careful, and most importantly, be careful of getting glue on your finger, because you'll leave a nice fingerprint behind. And again, once you're done, a little bit of glue on the inside doesn't harm at all. It'll just add to the strength. Now, 2 vents per side. These ones go on anyway, as the instructions state. They are going to need filling. They're a little bit tricky to do and a bit of a pig to sand. But we'll deal with those quite easily later on. So I'm just making sure it all lines up and what I'm going to have to deal with seam line wise later on. Clean up with a 400 UMP customizable sander, cut to shape. Just get rid of all that excess plastic, any flash that's there, and just make sure it's a nice neat fit. Always check your parts before you commit to glue. Just take them on and off a couple of times. Can you alter a profile a little bit to get the part to fit better? The better this fits, the less we've got to fill. So I'm just sanding it, making sure it's all straight, level, and that it's all going to lay up and line up properly. As we can see, we are going to have a little bit of filling to do. It's a seam line caused obviously by the separate part, and on the real car it is a flush seam. The benefit of this is this body, I'm going to guess, has been slide molded. So because it's slide molded, it won't have any real seam lines to deal with on the body. Hence why we have the bumpers front and rear separate and parts like this. So I think it's better when they're like this because it's less clean up on the body, but then you've got little fiddly bits like this to do. But it's not the end of the world, this. It's not too difficult to do. And again, it's going to add to your modelling skill set, learning to fill things. And again, we just pop in place, let the tamiya extra thin. This is my 50-50 mix with Plastic Weld. I will show you how I do that later on in the video. And then on the exterior, again, we'll just go around, make sure it's all glued. Let the capillary action go around. And this one, give it a little push. Give it a little push in, because if we get a little bit of molten plastic, it'll aid in the filling. And again, on the rear section, now these 2 parts here, I'm gluing in place at the back. The kit instructions state to apply these to the interior on the hose. Problem is, when you offer the body up, it doesn't line up, and you're left with a big gap at the back. So what several people have said is glue these on the body now, and worry about getting the connection inside later, because the connection inside is a lot less prominent than the bodywork. So that's what we've done. Now this won't need filling, so we're just going to carefully glue it in place. Again, using our tamiya extra thin mix. And again, watch out for any excess glue on your fingers. And then we'll put that to one side. And that's probably going to dry for about 6 hours before we go to the next step on the body. Now, there's several parts of PE for the car. And on the rear, we've got the spoiler struts. Now, what I didn't see in the kit until later on was the side wings for the spoiler are PE too. You can see them on the fret, plain as day. I didn't, and I've glued the plastic ones on. So by the time we got to primer, I spotted them and I was like, oh, you idiot. But we're committed, they're glued in place. I'm not going to muck around pulling things off. So I decided to leave it be. But we'll use these struts because they do look a lot better. So it's a case of getting them off the fret. Then don't need cutting. They're attached by the plastic backing. Bend them in place, straighten them all up. A couple of dabs of strategic CA glue. This is my Loctite Perfect Pen CA glue. In place, then we can close it up, give it a little bit of a squeeze, and any excess CA glue can be removed with acetone on a cotton bud. So again, be careful you don't get any glue on your fingers. Close it up, just hold it for a second. Any excess, try and wipe off your fingers. Like I say, if you get any excess spill on the side, a little bit of acetone on a cotton bud will remove that. A little bit of test fit on the spoiler and on the car. Now these are a bit thinner than the plastic ones, so it does leave a bit of a gap on the body, but I don't think it would be really all that recognisable. So 6 hours later, the bodywork glue should have dried. We've got some Sprue glue. So what this is tamiya extra thin, about half a bottle, with some cut up Sprue, chopped into tiny bits, dropped in, and what that does, it melts the Sprue, and you basically get a molten plastic. So the idea of this is you put it on any seam lines. It takes a good while to dry, so you're going to wait at least 12 to 24 hours for this to dry, enough to sand, depending on how thick you put it on. What we're going to do, we're going to put it on liberally, but not a crazy amount, over that seam line to make sure we fill it and that we come past proud of the surface. We'll leave that for a good 12, I think it was about 14 hours it got left in the end. Let it dry, come in, and we can sand that flush to the body. You may have to repeat it, you may not. There's other ways you could fill this. You could use a water-based filler, which I'm not a fan of because they all shrink. You could use Tamiya filler, things like that. But again, they shrink. It just shows the panel line back. For me, there's only two fillers, is Sprue glue, which takes a lot longer to dry, or CA glue, which is almost instant. The problem is, sanding CA glue on a part like this is very hard work because you can't really get at it as good. So you're going to make a lot more work for yourself. So as you can see, we're coming a little bit closer now. I've got the brush loaded up. Now you want to add the plastic so that the Sprue glue mix is thick enough so that when you dip it in, it literally holds at the end of the brush and just drips off. That's my ideal consistency. Just enough to hold it to the brush, but if you put enough on there, it will drip off. And as you can see, I'm just touching it and just letting it flow into that gap. So this is handy stuff to have. This bottle I have here is about 5 years old. And all I've done over the years is add a little bit more extra thin as it's thickened up over time. So it will last a long time. Now, my glue mix. You heard about me bang on about this for years. It was a tip passed on to me by my buddy Norman. So we've got a bottle of extra thin, a bottle of EMA plastic weld. You could use mech as well. And Deluxe Materials Perfect. What's it called? Plastic Magic, that's the one. So you get 40 mils in a bottle of Tamiya Extra Thin. And just to prove it, you get a little bit more by the look of it actually, because that's 25 in there. So I'm like, okay then. So we'll chuck in a big one. So we've got a 60 ml medicine cup. So we'll pop that all in there. And there we go. So I think it's about 40 ml in a Tamiya Extra Thin. So we've got 20 mils we're going to pour back into this cup now. Doing things a bit hand over face, but we needed to empty the Tamiya Extra Thin bottle. And my mind didn't compute that at first. So there's 20 ml. Whatever you do, do not spill this anywhere because this will ruin anything it spills on. So take your time. So there's 20 ml of Tamiya Extra Thin. And then we'll grab our EMA Plasti Weld. And we'll add 20 mils of this in here, mix it together, job done. Now the idea of this is the Plasti Weld is a much hotter chemical. It melts the plastic a lot quicker and a lot more. For me, it evaporates too quick, so it doesn't do as good a job as it could. Now mixing it with the Tamiya Extra Thin slows down that evaporation, but still gives you a hot glue. So that's the idea around it. And I've been using it for years, and for filling seam lines, it's brilliant because it does a lot of the work for you because it's a hotter glue. Now, I've got a 240 U&P grey thinny sponge. I'm just going to go around and clean up all the glue marks where we glued the bumpers on. Very lightly sanding, and then we're going to go around all the wheel arches, in the window frames, and just clean up all the plastic till it's nice and neat. There's no seam lines to do, but we're just looking for raised areas of plastic. And once we're happy with that, we can cut off these supports in the windows using our Tamiya sprue cutters. Again, the links for all this are in the description down below. So we cut them as flush as we can to the body, and then we'll grab a customizable sander cut to shape, and we'll just go around and gently clean it all up. Just be very careful, don't reprofile parts or go too crazy. And we'll just clean up all those points until the excess sprue is gone. So beautiful customizable sanders. You can cut these to any length or shape. As you can see, I've got a nice pointed one there that will get in every recess. Very, very good. So spoilers cut off, cleaned up, mounted on a cocktail stick. We put our P struts on a cocktail stick, CA glued on at the bottom where they connect to the car. So they're ready for paint now. And then we'll put on one of our crocodile clipped micro brushes, which I made the other week. And then because it's about 14 hours since we did this now, we can come with our thinny sponge again and just lightly sand. Now, This is going to take a while to do because it's a very awkward area. We don't want to lose the panel line on the door. We don't want to reprofile that rear wing or the arch. So just really take your time. There's probably a good half an hour of sanding here just to get these done. Just really take your time and then use the light to angle the plastic to make sure you have got rid of all the sprue goo, because it can look as if it's gone. And when you catch it with the light proper, you'll see where it's still prominent. So just keep going around. If you need to get inside, we've got that customizable sander that's cut to a point to get right inside. And we can really get in there and get rid of all that excess plastic and get it sanded back. Now, I got this first time pretty much how I was happy. No need to reapply. It's not 100% perfect, but you can chase seams forever. It comes to a point where you're just like, that's got to do. And I knew it was good enough because, well, I could see it on the light. First time doing a white body car, painted white, in a long, long time. Well over a year for myself. So it's different going back to this, spraying a car white. But it's a nice change as well. So prepping this for primer now. We've got our sponge, 240 sponge from UMP, which hopefully we'll have as a product soon. I've been testing this for ages. And for scuffing up the bodywork for primer, it's fantastic. So we're just going to go around. We're going to get rid of every other glue mark and just give every surface a key. Some people don't believe you need your key. I think you do. I think it helps the primer stick, helps prep the surface, and gets rid of any glue marks or any imperfections that you may have missed. So I just go around the entire body and just lightly sand it all till we lose the sheen off the plastic. So for me, an important step. It's all about the preparation. I've been saying that for years. Perfect preparation prevents piss poor performance. I think it is, isn't it? That's the one. Once we've done that, we go around with our toothbrush and all the panel lines, any gaps, recesses, everywhere, and get rid of all that sand and dust. And again, just go around the entire body systematically and get rid of every flaw in there. So we've got several steps for getting rid of the dust. We've got the toothbrush. We've then got our UMP cleaner on a bit of tissue. Let's get rid of fingerprints as well. As you can see, we're mounted on our Tamiya stand now. So this is get rid of any residue left behind by our fingers or anything that might contaminate the primer. We'll then come in with our anti-static brush just before we prime to get rid of any dust that's settled in the meantime. And then we'll blow over it with the airbrush just before we prime as well. And again, these are all steps to minimize the amount of debris or foreign objects in the paintwork. And it's time well spent. It really is. I know it seems a bit too much, but it is time well spent. These anti-static brushes from Tamiya, they're not cheap at all. And people are going to say, oh, you can use a hair, makeup brush. And that will work. It's not as soft as this. And I don't know it's got anti-static properties like this. But I've noticed a great reduction in crap in my paintwork over the years I've had this brush. So I'm sticking with it. Right, so we've got some Tamiya Fine Surface Primer. This is the spray can. It's been decanted. So it's been sprayed into a bottle, left to off gas. We then thinned it about 70% with Tamiya lacquer thinner with retarder. Always make sure you off gas it. There is a video on the channel about decanting spray paints. And the reason for decanting it, because through the apex, it's a lot more controllable. Well, through the airbrush, it's a lot more controllable to spray with a lot less wastage. So we've got a 0.35 apex here. We're at 18 psi. We're going to put down three or four coats of this. Now, priming on white with white paint is tricky. White paint can be a lot of people's nemesis at the best of times. So putting on white plastic, you really need to be careful because it's very, very easy to put way too much paint down. Now, a little bit of muck land in this, and on the first coat, it's an ideal time to get it off. So with our tweezers, we'll just grab it and gently remove it. And then as we get that one off, another one lands just behind. So you can get it off at this point, and then your subsequent coat of primer will infill where you've removed that. So it's no issue really at all. But yeah, angle the body to the light as you spray, and that way you can see where the paint's laying down. It's very, very easy to overspray. So just put thin coats on, Take your time, work your way around. By the time you've done the whole body, the first side you put that thin coat on will near enough be dry, and you can put your second coat down near enough, almost straight away. Make sure it's getting amongst all those recessed areas, like those bonnet vents at the front, all the ducting, underneath the wheel arches, underneath the sills, underneath the bumpers, and keep nice light coat going. Now, as you can see, I've not got a lid on the airbrush. You thought we'd have learnt a lesson from the last spillage we had, but no, it's still not there. It's literally a foot away on top of the booth, and I've still not bothered to put it on. I'm stupid, and I really need to get into the habit of putting the colour cap on the airbrush. If you don't remember, I spilled paint on the freshly painted wing of the car last time. I think it was the Cobra, was it? Was it the Cobra? It was the Cobra. And yes, we had to respray, which was a bit of a nightmare. So you'd think I'd learnt my lesson. So 2 or 3 light coats, 3 coats, 3 or 4 light coats. And we'll make sure we get every area covered. Once we've got a good coat on there, I know we put 2 coats on straight away. We put a thin one on, work around the car, come back, add a second one, leave that to dry. I'll put another 2 coats on that, and that'll do us. For the spoiler, because this is being left in black and carboned, we've got some Mr. Service of 1500. This is thinned with Mr. Hobby level and thinner. About 60-70% thinner to paint. And again, through the 0.35 apex, 18 psi, 2 or 3 light coats, no problem at all. Head on over to www.umpretail.com and help support mine and Lee's business, because without Ultimate Modeling Products, there would not be any international scale modeler, and all the videos we put out there, and the Facebook page, and the forum we run. We stock loads and loads of modeling products, including all our own products of our Apex airbrush, our pigments, primers, sanders, thinner and cleaner tools, our wonderful storage system, polish system, and weathering washes. We also sell modelling tools, paints, model kits, glue, solutions, fillers, weathering products, aftermarket, and of course, international scale modeler merchandise and gift cards. And all orders made before 12 midday get next day delivery in the UK, and international orders are shipped within 48 hours. Now, we've got some Tamiya LP2 white. This is thinned about 60% with Tamiya lacquer thinner with retarder. Needs a good mix up. We've got our Badger paint mixer here. Give the bottle a good whiz up. Get your paddle right down the bottom. Give it a stir to get all the sediment off the bottle. And then give it a good whiz with the old Badger paint mixer to get it all nicely mixed up. You can use a lot of things to do this. A lot of people are using coffee frothers. Now, I know it works, but you're frothing the paint rather than mixing it, so be careful with that one. Whereas this is just spinning to mix. So we're going to give a good mix up. You are going to have to do this because paint does settle. We've got some Tamiya lacquer thinner with retarder. We're thinning it about that's 50% now. And then we add another glug in to make it about 60% thin. And then again, we give it another whiz up with the Badger paint mixer to make sure it's all nicely thinned. So I've mixed up in total there, I reckon about 12 mil of paint. So it would have been, no, it wouldn't be. It'd be 3 mil of white, 3 mil of thinner, so about 10 mil, maybe 10 mil of paint there. And again, white on white, nice thin coats. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, coverage is good. And just go around, take our time, and just make sure we get everywhere painted. It's going to cover really quick because it's white on white, so the coverage will be super fast. Now, where we filled in our vents on the side, we filled those with grey sprue goo. Now, when I was priming, it does take a bit more primer to cover the grey. So I think in future we'll make a white sprue goo. So we use white sprue in there, and then when we're filling in white plastic, it'll make life a little bit easier when we're coming to prime and paint in white. So if I do that, I'll do it on camera, make a little video for you, and I'll show you how I do my sprue goo. Because I do get a lot of people ask how it's done. I think a lot of people have a bit of trepidation about doing it, a bit worried that they're going to do it wrong. But there's no way of going wrong, really. Don't put too much in to begin with, because you can add more rather than take it out. So yeah, I'll show that in a later video. But again, we're just going around, make sure we get all those angles. There's lots of little recesses and angles on this thing that we just need to be really careful of. And we'll probably add about, I think, 3 or 4 coats on there, very light coats. Now, the LP paints, I don't think they like to go down as wet as the TS do. In my opinion, the TS sprays need to go down wet, or they can dry a little bit powdery. So I'll put the TS sprays on a little bit wetter than this. Whereas with the LPs, I've had adverse reactions when it's gone down really wet. Now, a lot of people out there are saying that it's the same paint. It's not. I think it's different paint. They're both lacquer paints. I think it is a different paint, though. They smell and spray and react differently. Now, we've got a 5-second UV pen here. We've got our front lower spotlight lens cover, which on this car is carboned. So we're going to pop this on now. As is, we've got our UV glue in there, and then we hit it with our UV light, and that will cure that and hold it in place perfectly for us. This is one of my favourite new finds. I love this stuff. UV glue is not new. I had it years ago when it first kind of appeared on the market, but it never quite cured properly. This stuff dries a lot quicker and a lot harder, so for clear parts or any delicate parts, it's brilliant. If you get it on the paintwork, you can wipe it off as long as you haven't hit it with the light. And it is proven to be a very useful tool. Again, links for this in the description below. Once they've dried, we can start with a decal. Now, this was a mammoth decaling session. I have not got it all. I did capture it all on camera, and I did contemplate sitting there and doing the old, let's stick every decal down. There's way too many. Way too many. So just pick this up at prominent points. So we've got the carbon set here. And we've got some Ultimate Solutions ready at the back. A little bit of water there just to get it flatted out and in place. Just get it all lined up as per the instructions. There's 2 pieces on the front. One goes at the bottom. And then there's this larger one. Just get it all down. Use the brush to manipulate it in place. If it needs moving back, use your finger or wherever you're comfortable using. And then use the brush. No solutions on this just yet. That's just water. To just get it all in place at home. Now, the Nunu Platz decals are very nice. They can be quite thick, but they're very, very... you can give them a bit of stick to get them in place. So once we're happy it's in place, we've got some of the normal UMP decal solution now. And I've just applied it all over the top. We give it a good brush down, make sure it's all in and snugged, and then leave that for 5-10 minutes. Come back, put a strong over the top, and as you can see, we've got those on and the vents in at the side, and they start to lay down absolutely beautiful. Our Ultimate Decal Solutions are one of our best products. I'm very proud of these. They do absolutely phenomenal work. I developed them myself personally, tested them all, and the strengths are just absolutely perfect for the majority of decals out there. But always start with the least powerful one. Unless you 100% know that this decal will only react with a certain strength, don't jump straight to the highest strength because it can really bite you in the backside. So with these, they weren't really reacting to the normal. They were a little bit, but they were reacting much better to the strong. So I started to just use the strong on them, and that was working perfect. It was getting them down, setting them in place perfect. And then I always like to go one step up and then put the next solution on, but that way I know it's fully down. But on this one, didn't really need to do it. The strong did the job. So as you can see, we've got the roof carbon decal on. It does go on one way, so make sure you go it the correct way. And again, no solutions just yet. We're going around to get rid of all the excess water and solution underneath. And using our fingers to push it out as good as we can. Get rid of as many creases and air bubbles as is possible. Using our finger and a cotton bud. And then we've got some strong solution. And what we'll do is we'll brush this all over. Leave it for 30 seconds. Come back. Brush it over again. And we'll just do that for 5 minutes or so. Don't let this stuff pool up. It can burn the decal because it is essentially melting the decal in place. So don't let it pool off and bugger off and go and have your dinner because you'll come back and probably will have marks on this decal. Any decal solution that will do that has got any strength to it. And as you can see, after 10 minutes or so, It's really laid down well. And then we can start to use the brush to manipulate the decal into the panel lines. Because it's got softened now because of the decal solution, it will really let you push it down. So we've got gullies either side of the roof, and then the escape hatch on top as well. And there we go. We've gone nuclear now. We've gone for the extra strong. And we're just going to apply that around that roof hatch as well, because I really want the decal to snug down in those panel lines there. And then rubber out everything solid, we'll chuck it all over the top. Now, do not leave this one on for too long unattended. And be very careful with the decals that you're confident it's not going to, well, push them too far. Like I say, start with the least powerful decal solution you can and work your way up. Now, some quite tricky decals to get on and line up, but pretty straightforward overall. The decals lay down really well. They lined up pretty well as well. As you can see, it's starting to lay down nicely. Once this decal on the roof has dried a little bit, I've got a brand new fresh blade in my Tamiya knife. And we're going to score that panel line on the roof. With the side decals, where it goes into those gullies on the side, any excess moisture can be forced out the side. With decals like this in the middle, there's nowhere for anything to go. So as I was burnishing it in, I was getting bubbles of fluid coming back out on the decal. So the only way to get rid of it is to score the decal and then use the brush to push the decal in, and any excess moisture can come out then as well. So that way we get the decal fully burnished home into the panel line, and we get rid of any moisture from underneath. And don't worry if you can see white plastic, because when we add a wash later on, that will cover that up anyway. So like I say, loads of decals to go down. This was a good, long, enjoyable decal session in the hangout with all my friends, chatting away, having a laugh. Very enjoyable afternoon. I've not decaled the car since the Lancia we did a while back, and it's one of my most enjoyable parts of modelling. I love decaling. It can be stressful and it can be troublesome, but overall I always really enjoy doing this. And it's just a case of getting used to doing. The more you do, the better you'll get. Building cars, it's unavoidable. You're going to have loads of decals to do, so you are going to get good at doing it. And just get your technique down, learn how to use the decal solutions, and you'll get the hang of it, no bother at all. So as you can see, plenty of decals on this thing. I've got 2 of these in the stash. I've got several schemes there as well, some very nice ones too. And if this kit goes together as well as it is so far, I will definitely be building another one of these. Carbon decal for the spoiler. Again, you only get this with the aftermarket set. So if you haven't got it, you're either going to have to leave it black or add your own carbon decal to it. So we want the join to be underneath in the middle. So we just line it up. Again, use our brush with just water on. Get the edges down, make sure it's all straight, right up to the edge. And then use the brush to push up all the way to the top, get rid of that crease there. Push it into the corners. And there we go. Once we're happy with that, we can just give it a light brush down and then fold the edge over. So like I say, I'm not going to show the whole thing because we'll be here for hours. But I've shown some of the more important points and the steps along the way. So once you're happy, fold it over gently with your finger. Again, no decal solutions on here yet. Be careful because not all decals can be pushed like this. A lot of them would crack if you did that. But these are very good decals. Now, panel line wash. Didn't want to do black, didn't want to do grey, so let's do a dark grey instead. So we've got some Tamiya grey panel line accent in the cup. And we're going to add a little bit of black until we get a nice dark grey colour. That'll do. Black would be too much, grey wouldn't be enough, so dark grey will show up nicely. So this is Tamiya's enamel-based wash. Great for doing panel lines. Once your decals are set, it won't react with the decals. I've used it for a long time now. It dries pretty quick. Cleanup's nice and easy. As you'll see, the capillary flow works really well. Just touch it and let it flow through the panel lines. You may need to repeat it once it's dried if it's not dark enough. So put it on, let it dry, have a look. Does it need another coat? Just add another little bit. But the capillary action carries it around the bodywork really well. I'm just going to go round and add this to every recess, every panel line. And then leave it for half an hour or so. Wipe it off with a tissue or a cotton bud with some odorless mineral spirits on it. And that will leave our panel lines looking very smart. So there we go. Wiping off. As you see, our panel line is prominent. Not too dark, not too light, just right. Goldilocks will be proud. And there we go. Nice and easy. And that scheme's looking really good, really sharp. Glad I chose this one. Like I said, it's been a while since we've done a white car. The last one I did was a commission build, so it wasn't even for me, and that was over a year ago. So I can't even think what the last white car we did was. So nice to get back to doing them. And again, if the tissue's too much, just get a cotton bud. A little bit of odorless mineral spirits on it. You don't need a lot at all. Really needs very little to get the wash off. And just go around and remove all the wash. Be careful. Make sure the wash is dry on the panel line or your cotton bud will soak it up. And just carefully wipe it off. Now, once you've wiped off the panel line, leave for a bit to fully dry again. And then go around and fully inspect that body to make sure you got rid of it. Because the times I've missed a bit of panel line wash. I've not seen it till this stage when we're clearing. So we've got some LP24 semi-gloss black. We've got our Ultimate Apex 0.35 or 18 PSI again. We're giving it a brush over anti-static brush, and we're just going to apply several light coats of this. So we're thinning out about 60% with the lacquer thinner with retarder. And we're going to put a semi-gloss sheen on this. I know, I can hear you gasping and saying, what? No 2K? Yeah, I thought we'd go a different route on this one. I've never done a semi-gloss on a car, ever. Everything I've ever built has been glossy. So I thought, let's give it that proper semi-gloss look that the true race car has. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to apply a few light coats all the way around. You do not want to put it on heavy because it can eat your decals. Trust me, it will. I could see a few decals starting to react a little bit in places on the edge. So just really take your time. I'm not putting barely any paint down here at the minute. I've angled the model towards the light so I can see it physically going on there. And I'm just spraying it lightly over. And we're going to give it a coat. Put it to one side for 5 or 10 minutes. And then come back and add another light coat until we're happy that everything is covered. And we want to get rid of all the decal edges as well. So just enough paint to get rid of those. And we're happy. But again, just make sure you get everywhere covered equally. Same spray regime and discipline as everything else. Take your time. And there you go. You can see on that carbon roof now, we've got a nice semi-gloss finish. Looks very pretty. Looking really good. And again, we just give it a couple of light coats. That's looking good. Very nice. Really nice semi-gloss coat. I did also decant some Mr. Hobby semi-gloss. It was a spray can. So I need to experiment with that and see if it's any better, any worse. But Tamiya LPs are pretty unbeatable. So what I've done is I've gone around with each panel, give it all a light coat, and I'm looking mainly to get rid of the decal edges. So I've literally added enough of the semi-gloss to build it up slowly to lose the edge of the decal. That's what I'm looking at. And then obviously give us our semi-gloss finish as well. But please do nice light thin coats because this will eat your decals alive. Trust me, been there and done it. Got the ruined models. But there we go. 2 or 3 light coats of that. And we're all done. Happy with that. There's a spoiler. There's the body looking very smart. We're safe that the decals are all sealed in place. And there we go. There's our body. Not the best pictures, a little bit washed out because it's taken with my phone. But I like this. We've got a semi-gloss sheen to the bodywork. The decals are looking good. They've laid down well. And nice to not do a full gloss finish for once. Although I do like my gloss finishes, I think this bodywork kind of suits a semi-gloss. I am going to experiment with the Mr. Hobby. and I'm going to try it on the spoon and see if I prefer the look. And if I do, we'll give it another go over. But for now, I'm liking this. Absolutely loving the carbon roof on this. It's one of the main reasons why I chose this scheme. It looks really, really good. There we are then. Let's go back to me. Okay, so there we are. That's where we're at today. Like I say, semi-gloss clear coat. I think that's the first car I've ever finished in a semi-gloss clear coat ever. Intentionally, anyway. I've had some poor clear jobs over the years. Now, I'm going to test Mr. Hobby one I've got as well on a spoon and see if I prefer that look. And if we do, first time we come back in the next video, it'll just be a quick go over the body again, and maybe we'll see what the finish is like. I don't know. I do like the LP24. I'm just not sure on it. So I'm going to test that and see, and if not, we'll leave it be as it is. But it's nice to do a white body car. Like I said, it's a different spray technique. You've got to be careful with your paint. It's a different look. Beautiful scheme. I'm a sucker for BMWs. If you know me, I love BMWs and Fords. And M logos, M stripes, love them. So that's the reason for picking this kit. And like I say, I've heard things about this kit where people put me off building it. And as I was saying to the guys in the Hangouts the other day, I pick a lot of these kits up. For example, Tamiya CLK GTR. And I'll look at the kit thinking, oh, it needs a bit of carbon work inside. Or there's a roof scoop that needs filling in. Oh, I don't fancy doing that. You know, it's going to be really difficult to do. And I'll avoid that beautiful Tamiya kit. But I'll then go and build a 40-year-old MPC kit that needs a lot of work, or scratch build a near entire engine bay on a Skyline 12 scale kit. Huge thing, no bother at all. And I've got to get out of my head about these kits and looking at them thinking, oh, the decal scheme looks tricky, because I'm building all these other crazy kits that need a load of work and avoiding some of the better kits that don't, like this. I've wanted to build one of these BMW M6s for ages, and I'm hoping it goes together well, because if it does, you can hear it from me and look at the video and go, it's not that bad to do actually at all. So fingers crossed, we'll be good. And I will be getting that M8 when it comes out as well. So there we go. There's part 1 of that done. Now, part 3 of the Cobra will be the next video. We're going to do the interior. I've got something else lined up as well. And I'm kind of on the fence whether to tell you what it is. A few of my close friends know. I want to tell you because it's going to get a lot of interest, and I don't because I can't bother with all the hassle like the snow speeder, which you'll never see me build a snow speeder now. I've been hassled about it that much. It's gone. It's sold on to somebody else. I don't want to be pestered over the builds because it's really off-putting when you're already struggling with something anyway. This is my hobby at the end of the day. These videos are a byproduct of my hobby that I pass on to you. So I don't want to be pestered on my builds. I don't want to be told, oh, you should do this. No, I shouldn't. I might, though. And if you want to suggest things, by all means. But I don't want to be hearing and getting pestered about things I might have mentioned or things like that. I understand people want to see the videos, and I love everyone's feedback. But you've got to also remember, this is my hobby. I do this not only for enjoyment, but also for my own mental health as well. So if I'm going to build something, let me build it. Just let me build it and enjoy it for myself. You might like this next one, and I'm going to have a think about it over the weekend, and I might tell you what it is. I've got a bench update planned. Oh, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. And I might discuss it and show you it in there. If not, I'm not going to tell you what it is, and you'll see it when I'm ready. We'll see. I'm bringing it up now to be something it's not. But anyway, yeah, I've got something else I want to do, and hopefully we can get it done and make a video build of it as well. So yes, thanks for listening to me waffle, because I have waffled as usual. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that video today. If you got this kit and you built it, let me know what you thought of it. Did you have any issues or any problems to look out for past the stage I'm at now? I'm happy to hear anyone's feedback on the kit at all. If you built it, please let me know. We'll be interested. And as always, leave a comment. I do love all your comments you leave. It really do spare me on with the builds. I might not reply to you all, but I do read them all and put a heart on them that I have read them. And yes, please feel free to leave a comment. Make sure you're sub to the channel. give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, wherever you want to do, and click the notification bell so you get notified of all our latest videos, and subscribe. I think I said subscribe, don't know. Subscribe as well. And of course, check out umpretail.com. You can get a lot of products that are shown in this video, and in the description down below is a big long list of all the products I use in my videos, so if you see something, you probably go find it in there. I know we've not got as many product pictures on the channel anymore, but they're just killing me doing them. It is absolutely the time it takes to add all those thumbnail pictures in the video. It's adding a good hour, sometimes 2 hours to the video editing just to add those. So I'm going to put those down to bare minimum now, and I'll try and describe what they are instead. If you got this far on the channel, what do you think I've been talking about as a next build? What do you think it could be? What am I keeping secret that I've bought and I might potentially build? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's see who's been paying attention, because when you give your guess, put an exclamation mark at the end of it. Let's see who's watched this far. I like doing this because it does show who watches the videos properly. Of course, check out the Live the Bench page and Off Air Hangout group to come join our live show tonight, Fridays, Sunday mornings, Wednesday mornings, UK time. And of course, the Off Air Hangout group for our Off Air Hangouts. And check out my Paul ASM page. I am literally just about to roll over 4,000 followers. I'm one away. I've been one away for days. It just won't roll over. So go over there and like my page as well. And that's it. I'll catch you all next time. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.